Alright, what's up anybody who's watching? I am casting a SAC match. It is StarCraft 2 Amateur Championship, as I remove the music, because I started without me exactly being ready, but hey, that is okay. So we are in the first map, but I'm still setting everything up. So give me 1 second. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Okay, perfect. Alright, there we are. So we are here for the first map of the day in the SAC StarCraft Amateur Championship. Up here in the top left, representing Alpha X, it is CaptainCannuck. And down here in the bottom right, representing CSO, which I have no clue what that stands for, it is Fierce. I'll try to figure out and ask these guys, or ask Fierce specifically, in between the match, what SEO actually stands for. But we'll figure that out here in a minute. Like I said, I'm trying to get everything set up because they did not wait on me before starting the game, which was not cool, to say the least. Okay, so we're back in, got everything done. So far everything is pretty standard. Gateway, core, nexus for CaptainCannuck, and hatch first into gas pool for Fierce. So this is a PvZ here on Ephemeron, as you can see. And this is in the, I think it's Plat 1 to Diamond 2 bracket of the SAC. So, we are getting here going Sentry first here for CaptainCannuck, which is a little bit interesting. Usually you get that Adept. I guess he kept his probe alive enough to where he doesn't really need to use that Adept for scouting per se. So, he's just going to go ahead. He's throwing down a shield battery too, so going ahead and making sure he's extra safe. Going second Sentry even on top of this, which is even more interesting, but it's going to pay out for him because his opponent is going for a Baneling bust. So sentries are one of the better units early in the game at holding a Baneling bust. You can force field the opening of this right here and keep the Banelings from exploding on your units that are holding the wall. He's going to get a Stalker after this as well, which is a big old beefy boy and is very good at holding the wall. He's going robotics facility behind this, so maybe gonna follow it up with some type of immortal sentry based push, which is still very good, especially at the lower levels of the StarCrafts. Does finally make an Adept, and he is kind of shading across the map. He's going to see all these Zerglings coming across. Not all these Zerglings, I mean 2 Zerglings. So does see that. Did let the shade finish. Going to see more Zerglings coming across. So he should be aware that something funky is on the way. Yep, here come the Banelings. He's going to have to get that force field almost immediately. He does. Nice force field there from CaptainCannuck. So does have at least 2 more force fields available. I believe 3 force fields actually in total. So he's going to be able to hold these off. He really needs to start adding his next layer of wall here. I think he thinks with what he has, he can hold this off with just a force field, which I mean, he's not completely wrong. A couple of Banelings did come in there and crash through before He was able to get that force field up, but did have enough health with this shield better here to be able to hold that. He is having this wall wide open, which is making me a little bit scared for him here. Really just needs to throw one of these stalkers in here on hold position and he'll be good. Behind this though, we see Roach Warren and a lair coming out along with second gas here for Fierce. So it looks like he is going to go for some kind of roach play. CaptainCannuck deciding to move out, which was not ideal to say the least. Gets fully surrounded by those Zerglings that were there. Getting surrounded yet again. So this is definitely not ideal for the boy CaptainCannuck. He is not in the best place. Does have a warp prism coming out. He has an adept on the third, so he knows that the third isn't being taken. Zerglings are going to see this warp prism, although they're not actually going to be able to do anything to it because, as we know, Zerglings do not shoot up. So Forge is done. There are 5 gateways here in total, going up to 7. Warping in the first round of adepts here. In the natural, Glaze did just finish up as well, throwing even more gateways down. So looks like he is going to want to turn this into some kind of adept all-in, but his opponent has a lot of Lingbane Roach here, so I don't think it's going to work out well for him. So yeah, gonna have to pull back. The thing is, he's up in basically every way possible except for army supply. He is down a little bit in army supply, so not going to be able to do much there. Does have a full wall here back at home. He is warping in more adepts. Adepts are not going to be great against the roaches, so he's definitely going to have to get out either some mortals or some archons to be able to deal with the roach. The roach is basically just straight up hard counter adepts. Fierce though going into observer speed and roach speed as well. It's like he is still looking for this prism. There is a prism here, as we can see. It's like he knows about that somewhat, as he is morphing in some banelings down here. But Adept's going to get 3 or 4 workers here out of this in total before they do get taken out by these. I was going to say the banelings, but no. Puts the banelings up there with the warp prism and just takes them out with links. Does do some damage though, so CaptainCannuck still up in workers. Actually, a lot of workers. He's up over 10 workers in total. Centrifugal hooks coming as well as hydras, and he's finally going to get his Evo chamber upgrades going. There are 2 immortals here, along with some sentries and some adepts, couple stalkers as well. CaptainCannuck starting to macro up a little bit and throwing down this 3rd base. And it looks like Fierce is going to go for tunneling claw roaches, which is something you don't see that much anymore. You never really saw it a lot anyways. It was mainly used in ZVZ roach battles. And you didn't really see it much after, or much in the other matchups. And you especially didn't see it after the nerf to burrow, where roaches don't regain as much HP when they are burrowed. They used to regain a lot of HP while they were burrowed. So CaptainCannuck moving out here. He is researching Blink, which did just finish up. So we're seeing Blink a decent amount at IEM Katowice this week, especially out of guys like Parting. Parting loves his Blink, as I think we all know. CaptainCannuck though pushing in here to this 3rd base. Fierce, yeah, he's just gonna have to give this up and evacuate these drones. Cannuck using a couple of his force field right there to trap some drones. Does take out 6 drones in total, which is pretty good. Gonna back up a little bit, probably wait for a couple more warp in rounds and his +2 to finish before he does go for the full attack. His 3rd base is done, is CaptainCannuck. He is going for a Colossus Bay and a 2nd Robo facility, so probably going to be going into Colossus, which is going to be pretty good since Fierce is now transitioning into Hydras, and Colossus do very well against Hydras. They also do very well against Lingbane, so Oh, Canuck warping in here though. His opponent does see it. Does crash some Banes into a few of those units, but Canuck goes ahead and cancels the rest of them so he doesn't just straight up lose that money, which probably a pretty good call. We do see a Lurker Den coming down as well for Fierce. And we do see that Colossus production starting up for CaptainCannuck along with the extended thermal lance. So gonna get his lance fully extended here in this battle. He was going ahead and warping in Zealots, but he hasn't started charge yet. Not sure if he's aware of this fact, and by not sure I mean I'm pretty sure he doesn't, because he's sending these out like a charge lot hit squad. Let's see if we can find out where it is going. Not sure, don't see where he has that queued up to. But he's sending it out. These are going to be the slowest charge lots of all time, and the saddest because they have nothing. Looks like he finally realizes that he has no charge, but all of these zealots just crash. And I mean, they are going to eat a decent number of the banelings, and they are going to let him see that lurkers are on the way. So he doesn't know exactly what the tech of his opponent is going to be going into this mid-late game. So Colossus do decently well against lurkers, but what you really want is a high mortal count when your opponent is going into lurkers, which Canuck has a decent amount of lurkers. Immortals. He has 3 immortals. I lied, that's not a decent amount of immortals. But Colossus with the extended thermal lance do actually battle fairly well versus the Immortals. Looks like Captain sending a couple of scouting zealots out. Probably just going to make sure that there aren't any bases here or here, and he'll probably scout this one as well as Fierce tries to get it up. Storm finally being researched here on the back of this for CaptainCannuck. +3, about halfway done, and he is still up in workers. So this is definitely not a place that Fierce wants to be. He doesn't want to be down in bases and workers against a Protoss player, especially this late in game. He does go ahead and burrow all of his workers here on the 3rd base to hide them from the charge lots that came in. So pretty cute maneuver there. Does let CaptainCannuck know that he does have burrow though. So something for CaptainCannuck to look out for. There is no hive here for these lurker upgrades, which is going to be a big thing here because lurkers without especially the range upgrade are not going to trade very well with extended thermal lance Colossus. You really need that range upgrade to be able to deal with them. So I don't think this is going to go well for our boy Fierce when they do start battling. 2 observers already here on the way to be able to detect dim lurkers. We do see a Night Swarm. Show me Night Swarm. There it is. Right here in the front, which is where CaptainCannuck's coming, so he's basically going to kill this Night Swarm before it even has a chance to do anything. Lurkers are getting on top of their army, which is not great. These disruptors are coming in. They're probably just going to get immediately destroyed by these lurkers. Nope, they don't. One shot goes down on the lurkers, they get taken out. Colossus is going to finish the rest of them off. A lot of these Hydras have went down. A decent number of Bane shots connected though. Those disruptors do a move in, which is not what you want to be doing with them, but Canuck still has 3 Colossus, 4 Colossus even up here and fighting. He did not lose his observers, so gonna be able to go ahead, clean those lurkers up. And Fierce is gonna go ahead and give us the GG, giving CaptainCannuck the 1-0 lead here early in this match. So, good game there to CaptainCannuck. For some reason, all this stuff is locked. Now I know why. I locked it the other day. There we go. And we'll make that look a little is all the way up at the top of the screen, but with the way it's set up, can't really move it along too well. What the? Oh my god, it reset everything. I hate casting tools sometimes. Alright. We are in the lobby here for the next game. And it is going to be on Eternal Empire. So we are here in the lobby. Just, oh no. Alright, let's figure this out. Chaos Spec Ops. Okay. So, went in and looked up their clan tag to see what their clan name was because I am not familiar with these European clans. And we are jumping straight into the next game. Down here in the bottom left, once again, the red Protoss. And if you didn't know from his GLHFA, a Canadian it is, CaptainCannuck from Alpha X. And up here in the top right hand corner, the blue Zerg from CSO, aka Chaos Spec Ops. It is fierce. So CaptainCannuck taking the 1-0 lead into the next game. And we'll see what these players have in store for us. Fierce did decide to go for the Baneling Nest and the Bane Bust in the last game. And it looked like CaptainCannuck had some kind of idea that was coming, probably from match history scouting would be my guess. And he did have the appropriate response ready in the form of the shield battery and the sentries to keep the banelings from exploding on top of all his boys. So was a very good response there from the Canuckster. We'll have to see what he does this game and what Fierce does as well. That probe came in here and unintentionally blocked that gas for a second, which was pretty funny actually. So he did go pull before gas here in this game instead of fairly more common gas before pull. So we'll have to see if this means some kind of early aggression or if he decides to not be super aggressive with it, just maybe get up some quicker queens or something like that. Let's see what CaptainCannuck wants to do as well. If he goes start your first this game into the Glaives follow-up like we saw, or if he goes something a little bit different like a Roach Warren or the more standard Stargate. So his first units here should show us. Looks like he's going to go for basically the same build. This time though, Fierce is pulling out yet another cheese and is going for an early Roach Warren. So this is going to be one of those early 22-23 drone Roach Speedling attacks most likely. CaptainCannuck, I believe, has saw this. He did see the Roach Warren if he clicked on it. So he should be aware that something like this is a possibility. Do see a quick third base here in this game for Fierce. CaptainCannuck going ahead, throwing down a shield battery as well. And is it getting an adept along with the Stargate. So he is going to Stargate this game. It's just going to be a pretty delayed Stargate. We're actually not seeing super aggressive roaches here out of Fierce. He is just getting that super early, I guess, defensive Roach Warren. So not going to do anything too wild in this game. Canuck is getting those double suckers here most likely in response to that roach warren that he did scout. So Fierce is going ahead and throwing those spore crawlers down, so gonna have him ready for this target. It looks like Canuck going for a void ray, still expecting a roach cheese. But as we can see here from our caster view, not gonna be the case. Are some roaches being made now, which is a decent timing for him here in this 4 to 4 minute and 30-second time frame. Can have him ready for Dark Templars, which do hit around 4:30, 4:45. Glaive Adept's usually going to be a little bit later because you do have to do the research and get the extra gateways for those Adepts. But we'll see where this ends up going. Looks like it's just going to be straight on like roach, early drone roach push. This is 36 drones here is where he stopped. 2 fully saturated gases, nearly fully saturated natural mineral lines. So we are going to be going straight into dim roaches. Looks like he's maybe decided not to. Does see the void ray of CaptainCannuck. CaptainCannuck is seeing an abnormal amount of roaches here, so he is going ahead and dropping down a second Stargate, continuing the void ray production, and he is getting +1 flyer weapon. So it looks like this is going to be a straight sky toss rush here for CaptainCannuck. He is coming in here to third base, starting to beam it down. Are some more spore crawlers going down here for the boy Fierce. Does make some Ravagers, although only 1 Ravager not going to be able to kill these void rays. 4 Ravagers not going to be great at it either, especially if CaptainCannuck is paying attention at all to his void rays, which he is, and he does dodge those biles. So Fierce is trying to get up into a lair, probably, I was going to say probably for Hydras, but Hydras are not super great against void rays in low numbers. You really need a high number of Hydras to take on these void rays. But we'll see. And if you go Spire for Corruptors, you're basically hard countering yourself, which is not great. Because as we all know, the prismatic alignment big beam from the void rays just completely eats void rays, so, or Corruptors, I mean. So don't want to be doing that. He is going for a Hydra den though. He is going to come in here and push and cancel this third base up at CaptainCannuck. There's no way that he's going to be able to hold this. He is going to have to, well, unless Fierce just decides to not kill it. I guess that's one way he holds it. But Fierce is coming in here. He is losing a lot of his roaches. Has lost half of his Ravagers so far. Did have 2 to start with. Is down to 1, so now he has lost 3/4 of them. This is a pack of Chads here in the natural of Fierce, and they are telling Fierce's roaches that they do not belong. So go ahead and shoot them out. 3rd Stargate and a fleet beacon coming down for CaptainCannuck. So yep, straight on full sky toss. Not sure if this is going to be for Flux Veins or if he's going to go ahead and start transitioning into Carriers right away. Looks like probably Carriers because he is not making anything out of these targets, which is making me suspicious of Carriers. So, or it could just be for like +2 weapons, Flux Veins, and a big old push of Void Rays. There are, looks like 15 Hydras here against 7 Void Rays, which actually is fairly decent, but I don't think that that's going to be enough to take these out. And I have gone completely crazy. Where is my... There it is. Okay, sorry. My little thingy for my stream preview went wild, so I had to make sure it was still recording all that. It is. So we're good. Hydras and a couple of roaches are coming into this third base now. Our decent amount of Void Rays here. I think CaptainCannuck can probably take this. Oracle goes down almost immediately, and yeah, we see the Void Rays are doing very well against these Hydras. Just because of the way that they attack. He was focusing the pylons down. A little bit of the Nexus too. Looks like he's going to still push in here. This is not what Fierce wants to be doing. Oh no. These Void Rays. Oh. You hate to see that if you're a Fierce fan. And CaptainCannuck is doing what I thought he was going to be doing, and going straight into carriers. So up there, he is adding on some gateways. Does need to get a Templar Archives here, either for charge or for the ability to make Archons / Storm eventually, which is something you want to do, especially if your opponent is just going to be maxing Hydra. Storm will be very efficient at dealing with this. Looks like I somehow missed Fierce losing his Bond and Pull earlier, so he's going to continue the cheese game from earlier and going with a Nidus Worm. As we see, CaptainCannuck taking a 4th base down here, continuing the Sky Toss production. He is finally getting +2 weapons, getting a Forge. Still no Twilight Council, which I think is an oversight here for CaptainCannuck. Our 4 carriers here. The longer that CaptainCannuck is just allowed to sit back here and mass produce these carriers, the worse it's going to get for Fierce. So, really needs to find some way to put some pressure on, or just completely go up to like 90 drones and start building huge economy with. Actually, at this point, I don't even know if Corruptor Hydra Infestor Viper will be all that well, just because of the number of carriers that CaptainCannuck has been allowed to get up. So I don't think that this game is going to turn out well for our boy Fierce. He is loading up everything into this Nidus Worm though. He does only have 1 Overlord on this side of the map, so it can either drop here, I think the edge of here. CaptainCannuck does have vision of all this, so he's going to try to go on the main. So CaptainCannuck has his army right here. Does he notice this Nidus Worm? The answer is no. He does not notice the Nidus Worm. So Nidus Worm is going to pop, but as soon as it does pop, I think Fierce is trapping himself in CaptainCannuck's base. Because all these units are going to come out and then they're just going to die to these overwhelming amount of carriers that CaptainCannuck has been allowed to get out. The reducive carriers coming in are starting to pick out and take out these Hydras. It does take out the Nidus Worm so that these units cannot get out. And yeah, there we see just the armada that CaptainCannuck has been able to build in this game. Does give him the victory. So gonna take it to 2-0 and possible match point here for CaptainCannuck going into the next game on Simulacrum. So 2 pretty different games there for CaptainCannuck. Does hold the early aggression from Fierce. First game was a Baneling bust. Second game was a more of a roach pressure type build, which Canuck read pretty well. And I had those Void Rays waiting, so good stuff there from the boy CaptainCannuck. We'll have to see what these guys have in store for us going into this 3rd game. This is a best of 4 series, so we have at least 1 more game, possibly 2. If it does go to a 3-0, then the player who is down 3-0 can choose to go ahead and not play the 4th game. But they can also choose to go ahead and play it if they would prefer to do that. And we are getting loaded into the next game here. Whoops, that's the wrong screen. There we go. Here on the simulacrums. Down here in the bottom right, once again, representing Alpha X and Canada, it is CaptainCannuck. Up here in the top left hand corner, presenting CSO, which is a Chaos Spec Ops, apparently. And Europe, it is Fierce, the Blue Zerg. So we have seen Fierce try to get a little bit cheesy here in these first two games. Hasn't worked out that well. CaptainCannuck has been able to read it and have the defense in place, so we'll see if Fierce decides to still go for that. Looks like he is. He's going to go pull first here. In this game, this is a pull first with no gas, so it's not going to be for super early speedlings. This could just be for around the 6 lings to try to get in here and pressure the natural of CaptainCannuck. And he is going immediately into hatchery, so yeah. I think this is just going to be some kind of pressure play. CaptainCannuck is here in enough time to block this hatchery coming down from Fierce, so not going to go down. And he is going to come in here. He sees the early pull. He does see that the gas is not as early, so he does know that this will not be some type of super early speedling. Did he see the second gas? No, he didn't see the second gas, so Fierce decided to go for second gas, probably in response to that early hatch block here from CaptainCannuck. CaptainCannuck, in response, going cyber first, going for a quick zealot, and then delaying his nexus a little bit, just to be safe. Although, as we see, Fierce not being super aggressive with this early pull. He is just going for that early queen. Still no drones, or not drones. Still no zerglings being made off of the back of this, so not taking full advantage of that early pull, but as we can see from the caster cam, Canuck is pretty well prepared for this anyways. So even if he would have made those 6 quick early zerglings, they would not have done probably the damage that he was looking for. So good stuff there. Hatchery is done at the natural. Queen there ready to do her injecting, and there is a queen about to pop up here in the main as well. We are getting a quick layer here in the natural. Still no upgrades. Fierce did not start zergling speed behind this. It does go for the quick layer. Could be for, yeah, this is gonna be 2 base muta. Okay, so we are gonna be getting a muta build here from Fierce. If this isn't a muta build, then I'm gonna be completely surprised, just because of how early he's taking these 2 gases. He is going for a spore crawler, which I don't think he needs to be doing here, because he's not going to really have the drones to be able to spare for that. Really needs to get this 2nd and 3rd gas going ASAP. There is a Phoenix coming in here, so Canuck does see the early layer along with the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th gases already being done, so we should have some idea that something funky is coming. I don't think he's readied his mutas though, because he is going Glaive Adepts and Robo behind this, so Glaive Adepts can still be good against the guy going 2 base muta if you can get in before the mutas are fully out, because Spire does take a decent amount of time to build. I'm on the WCS overlay, so I can't see exactly how much time it takes. I think it's like 150 seconds or something like that, maybe. I could be completely off, but that's like a decent amount of time to build. So if you can hit before that is done, then you can do a lot of damage. It's kind of the same type of battle you see play out in ZVZ, where one person goes mutas and the other guy goes roaches. If you can hit with a decent amount of roaches before the mutas are out, and you can do a lot of damage. The same is true in the ZVP with mutas. If you get hit with the depths before there are a lot of mutas out, you can do a ton of damage, because if you have a high depth count, it's going to take the mutas a long time to kill all those adepts. So, our 11 mutas now on the way here for Fierce, though. CaptainCannuck still has exactly 3 units to shoot up, which are sentries, and those basically do no damage. So this is not a good position here for CaptainCannuck. He is getting a Phoenix out, so we do see the Phoenix does confirm the mutas. So CaptainCannuck now is like, oh, ruh-roh, what do? He does make a couple of Stalkers. He is researching Blink. He is starting to make some shield batteries. They are not done yet, though, so his mineral lines are going to be wide open here for these mutas. Mutas are focus firing the sentries, which this is not what I would recommend Fierce to do, is straight up fight the army. He is going to win. He really needs to dive here and get these workers, which he is doing. Our 2 Stalkers here, he does have enough mutas to go ahead and take those out. There are some slow Zerglings coming in behind this. Remember, he did not get Zergling speed. More and more Stalkers coming through to try to hold this for CaptainCannuck. He does have 2 shield batteries here in the natural. More mutas, though, are being pumped out. +1 flyer weapons are also coming out here for Fierce. And Fierce, I don't think he's done the damage that he really needs to. He needs to start trying to either depower these pylons or do the work. But looks like I was wrong, and he did in fact do the damage that he needed to do with that 2-base muted play. So Canuck got the scouting information that he needed. He just did not recognize exactly what was happening in that game. So a little bit of missed scouting information there from the Canuckster leads to a 2-1 comeback here for Fierce going into the last match, which is on the Tritons. So we are here in the lobby for this 4th and final game. CaptainCannuck saying that he didn't spot those gases here there with his scouting unit. Blaming the early start time, which is pretty early for us here on the East Coast. It is 11:30 a.m. So we are getting into this next match. Here we see, yet again, a ZVP. All these games are going to be the same, because like we said, it's a best of 4. Down here in the bottom right hand corner, representing Alpha X, the red Zerg player, is CaptainCannuck. I think I might have said bottom left, but that's incorrect. It is bottom right. And up at the top left hand corner, the blue Zerg, representing CSO, Chaos Spec Ops. It is Fierce. So, ZVP here on Triton. I feel like if you know how to wall this as a Protoss player, which looks like CaptainCannuck does, I think you can even put this pylon a little bit back here in between these snow patches. If you don't know where to put your pylon on Triton, look for these snow patches right here. That shows you where to put your pylon. So, there are usually some kind of indicators on these maps of where the pylons go. So, if you can find those like this, then you are golden. There are some on Eternal Empire as well, but we didn't look at those when those games were going. So we are getting an early pull here again for Fierce. I think this was, this might have even been an earlier pull than a 17 pull. So CaptainCannuck this time not going to let Fierce get this second base going quite as fast. He is going to get up here, does see this super quick pull. Once again though, Fierce not going to use this early pull for Zerglings. It is only going to be for these quick queens. So as we can see, CaptainCannuck once again respecting this early pull, is going Cyber and Gateway before Nexus. So Fierce is doing a decent job of holding CaptainCannuck's economy in check just by going for these weird spawning pull timings, which is pretty cool actually. We do see second base here in the third base location instead of in the natural for Fierce. CaptainCannuck does scout that though. And behind this we see a Roach Warren and a Gas. So gonna be another kind of quick Roach play here for Fierce, as I realize that these scores are wrong. It is 2-1 Cannuck. Were a couple of Zerglings that were made here, but these Roaches are going to be the real story. There still is no speed, so we're not going to see the usual quick speedling floods behind these Roaches that we see often. CaptainCannuck going ahead and getting the second pylon, is started up his Nexus finally. So I have a Sentry yet again. And he is going to be using that Sentry for, I thought for Hallucination. I was wrong. He is an Adept out here shading around though, so. He does spot some Zerglings coming out. He is going to get here in time to see these Roaches though. So, he does see the Roaches now. He is trying to get to the main base, but he's not going to do it. Nice body block with the Zerglings there from Fierce, so. He does see these Roaches now, so he should have some idea of what is going on. He is throwing down 2 more gateways in response. One there. Am I blind? Where's the second one? Oh, he's making a proxy gateway. Okay. So he's going for some kind of proxy gateway play. He is making Adepts behind this, which Adepts are no bueno versus Roaches. So Fierce is hitting with this Roach Squad pretty early, and he is going to catch CaptainCannuck completely unawares. And yeah, basically with his pants down. So force field does go down. Fierce is going to get into the wall of CaptainCannuck. Is going to take out some of these workers. All the workers on the natural are going to go down. 2 Stalkers are being warped in. Stalkers are good against Roaches, but you really need a number of Stalkers to be able to deal with Roaches. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get that number up. He's going to have to retreat. Fierce is going to start working on these pylons, which is definitely the correct choice here. If he can depower these pylons before CaptainCannuck can get some more Stalkers in, then he is going to be able to do very well against this. More Roaches are continuing to stream across the map. Fierce is yet again taking out some workers of CaptainCannuck. Looks like they forgot the OCS here. 13 workers in total have went down so far. That number gonna continue to go up as more and more Roaches do flood in here. We do see slow Zerglings yet again coming through, which is a real problem here for Fierce. If he had link speed, then these Lings will be able to get the full surround on these Stalkers and keep them from retreating up the ramp like they are doing here. Fortunately, does not, so not going to be as useful. These Zerglings basically at this point are just meat shields. A lot of times like what you will see with slow Zealots against these early Zerg rushes. They are basically just here to absorb some damage and to let the power units of the Roaches do the work that they need to. CaptainCannuck has gotten up a decent amount of Stalkers. Does have 7 here. 3 of these are in red hit points though, which is not great. And it looks like Fierce is going to back up. So CaptainCannuck has held this for now. Fierce is starting to redrone a little. Of course, as I say that, he goes back into more slow zergling. So not sure exactly how the rest of this game is going to play out, what they're going to do. CaptainCannuck working on getting his worker back up. He did lose 18 workers in all of that. But behind this, though, as we can see from the supply, down at the bottom, Fierce made no workers behind this at all. So basically only had his starting 17 or 18 workers here in the beginning of the game. So still super behind in economy. These adepts not going to help getting in here and killing 8 drones in the main base. So some good economic damage there by CaptainCannuck. He is dropping down a robo. He does know that his opponent is pretty committed to the roach tech at this point. One of the things that is very good as a Protoss player against roaches are, of course, immortals. So, gonna be getting out those big beefy immortals. For some reason, still making adepts. Looks like he's making those up here at the proxy gateway. Gonna try to get down, do some more eco damage. His opponent does scout this and find the proxy though, so gonna be able to shut that down. Cannuck going into the second base here for Fierce. Would normally be the natural, but of course this is not the natural. Cannuck gonna take out one more worker, and we'll shortly lose this proxy as Fierce is gonna go take it out. So one gateway down for Cannuck. First immortal his here on the way. And as we see, Fierce, as predicted, is going ahead and taking out this proxy, so not going to have to worry too much about adepts. He is going up into lair here, probably for either Hydras or Roach speed. I can do either one. He did finally get Zergling speed, so if he does decide to go for a big push, which looks like he is gathering his forces here for another push, it is actually going to have the link speed behind it, so gonna be good there. CaptainCannuck though has built a really good army here. They are both supply blocked as Cannuck took out an Overlord and a Fierce took out the proxy pylon. Our 2 more Overlords here for Fierce. Couple of gateways going down for CaptainCannuck. Continue to make them immortals. So the longer this goes and the more immortals that CaptainCannuck is able to get up, then the worse that this mid game is going to go for Fierce. He is finally droning up this. Looks like he is droning up his natural. No, they're going down here to the third. Rally points lied to me. Okay, so he's doing that. He is finally have his lair done. Not sure what he's going to be using the lair for. We will keep an eye on that. Second immortal is done. Cannuck using these force fields here to keep these roaches back. Files going down on the army, do take out a couple of stalkers, and Fierce is just going to go ahead and back up here. Not going to fully commit to that just yet. CaptainCannuck won't get this third base down, so he can continue the economic damage. Looks like something got in here that was probably just the hallucinated Phoenix, it does look like. So, Baneling Nest coming down for Fierce somewhere. There it is. Going down here in the natural base. Looks like he's maybe going to want to go for a Roach Ravager Baneling timing type attack. CaptainCannuck though, scouting the... No, you're gonna... Alright. He just got out of there before some of his Roach Ravager take damage from his own balls. So, CaptainCannuck though has scouted the staging point of the watchtower here for Fierce's army, so he is aware that Fierce is gathering the troops for something. Do see centrifugal hooks coming out for that baneling speed, which is a very important upgrade, especially when you are going up against, it's like 8 centuries here, so these banelings are going to have a hard time connecting. It's really going to need to be on top of these corrosive biles to be able to break these force fields down. CaptainCannuck getting some depths up here, try to get in some sneaky eco damage, but Fierce does scout this out. Probably with this Overlord here, probably saw those depths moving up through this area here. So good job there by Fierce recognizing that and reacting accordingly. So no more econ damage coming through for Canuck just yet. Canuck behind all this has gotten a forge down for +1. He does have a robotics bay, which is going to be for disruptors, which disruptors are pretty good as a Protoss player against a mass roach based army, but as we can see, this army really is Ling Bane based, which disruptors are not going to be as good against because these type of units are trying to get onto your army quickly to do that damage. So force field's gonna have to be on point, and the disruptor purification is also gonna have to be on point here for CaptainCannuck. So these banelings can get on top of his army. His army is still mainly sentry stalker based. If these Banes connect into the center of his army, he's gonna have a bad day. So it's gonna take some pretty good reaction time and control here for Canuck to avoid losing all of his army to the splash of these Banes. There are 25 banelings here for Fierce. Fierce is getting in here. Link's gonna go into the main base. And the disruptors, oh no, not the best force fields there, but a lot of the Banes connecting onto the same area there and a small choke point, so not getting the full surface area that they needed to maximize that splash damage. Are getting in here and killing a lot of workers though. Most of the workers have already went down for Canuck. 56 workers behind this have went down in total. So that's like another 30 workers have went down to these Zerglings here in the main and natural. Even more Zerglings coming in here to the main base, killing even more workers of CaptainCannuck. So good economic damage being dealt here from Fierce. The only problem is he basically did 0 damage to the standing army of Canuck, which is going to be a problem as CaptainCannuck is basically being forced to go all in right now. He does not have the economy to really rebuild a big army, so he's going to have to go with what he has now. Blink and +2 will be finishing before this attack gets here. Fierce is trying to rebuild an army here. The only problem is it's going to be mostly roach based up against this Stalker Immortal Disruptor army of Canucks. So it's not going to go well for him. He's going to have to get a great engage, get a nice concave, and get some good bile shots here. First Purification Nova is out, does whiff. Second one is out, also whiffs. And Canuck is still going to go ahead and take this fight. Does try to force build off these roaches here, which he does do pretty well. These roach Ravager here on this side gonna come out. Bile's coming out. Canuck does realize that, does pull back, and as we can see, the Stalker Immortal army is just chewing through this pure roach based army of Fierce. Canuck is on the third, or the second base, I guess. It is the third base in location. In reality, it was the second base that he took. So completely clearing that out of workers there, and Fierce does give us the GG and lead there. So is going to end this best of 4 series here between CaptainCannuck and Fierce in 3-1 fashion by CaptainCannuck. So it's going to give him, I think, his second win of the series. I'm going to try to find the brackets here and see what these guys' standings are right quick before we get out of here, just because I am a little bit curious. Diamond, Platinum Diamond. Okay. So, matches. CaptainCannuck. Nope. That's mine. This one. So CaptainCannuck last week did not play. Where are these guys at? Which group are they in? Apparently there's a bunch of different groups here. I'm trying to find these guys. I did not quite realize that there were these many. These groups. Here we are. So CaptainCannuck last week beat Basher Slice 3-1, and this week beat Fierce also 3-1, and last week Fierce tied 2-2 with Neutralis. So CaptainCannuck is 2-0 after this week, and Fierce is 0-1-1. So that's gonna do it here for this game. I'm gonna get out of here because I have to go play my own game. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.